If you're not okay with the people who are around you, change people around you, else change people around you.
Nice.
Get it?
Yes,
Get it?
get it.
Get it.
Wasn't too difficult to follow, dude.
Yeah, no, nice.
He questioned our intellect because we're women.
Like, I really don't
He made
feel
it-
comfortable when people put
He
me in
made it
such
so
positions.
far. And
They're like,
right
man,
at the
I'm
end-
doing it. Crazy.
He's like, I must get through it.
Hi, I'm Suyog, also known as the Fun Indian Guy. I'm a designer, musician, filmmaker, and a mechanical engineer. I'm from India, and currently I'm chilling around, traveling around, working around, roaming around, having fun around Europe, and this is my podcast. The Fun Indian Guy podcast.
How teacher destroy lives. It's a very touchy topic.
Especially if you've studied in India.
I think education in general everywhere is pretty much screwed.
How teachers?
I don't know, like
Also, go ahead.
when I spoke to some of my European friends and I asked, like, I wanted to know what was the difference.
Mm-hmm.
They had a better education than we did.
I won't blame our education. Like, I benefited personally.
No, so like I know, like from teachers from my school, they would like they would teach in the school. Also, they would go back home, and the same. Some of my friends would go to her to learn from
For
her.
tuitions,
Yeah, I mean, like that does not.
Are you
make
aware of
sense.
tuitions? Hold on.
That does not make sense. Like if you're going to teach the same students, why can't you just do it properly in the school itself?
Because they need to make them money.
Money.
Also, I think with classes
Also-
like that, the main reason, because I was one of those students, the reason that it works out better is because in a school, I don't know about you, the school I went to was like super, like it was a great school, but the fees were not that expensive.
Yeah, same.
So the number of people in a class
Great school,
was
I don't
really, my school was really good. The number of people in a class used to be really high. So in a tuition setup, it used to be 10 as opposed to 60, and that makes all the difference because in setting a baseline for 60 students is an extremely difficult
Okay.
task. So it's like you learn the basics there. You go to classes, it revises, and then like I used to go for maths.
No, but
So
see,
you
I would
redo the sums and all
No,
that
yeah,
stuff.
that
So
I
helps.
understand. That I understand. But I think there are. It for me it didn't make sense because she's teaching the same thing in the class. The same students are going to her house and learning the same damn stuff. It's just that
It's not that you learn it. The second time that you go and you hear that person say it, they're not actually teaching it. They usually
So
it's
then,
like a
okay,
revision.
also-
so instead of you going through it in detail, it's like somebody like imagine an audiobook catered to you that you can ask questions. That is what it is.
It's like a voice assistant. Okay.
Yes, but,
No, but-
a human one.
No. But okay. But then isn't it unfair to other kids who are not going to her tuition?
They-
Also, another unfair thing happened that the teacher who was like super influential, who was teaching the other kids, she also used to set the question paper for the exam.
Okay, but before we go into this topic, some context generation here. So in India, we go to school, plus we pay some teacher and they teach us whatever subject we join the classes for.
Okay.
It's called tuitions. There are private tuitions. Sometimes the teacher comes to your house, which is I guess also there in states.
Yeah.
But we have
And-
like some famous teachers doing their tuitions, and there are brands where they teach everything.
Okay.
And the fees of these classes are way higher than the school fees.
Yeah.
And it's nobody asks why, but everybody goes. Like most of the people, like till 7th grade I didn't go, but then afterwards I went.
Is it because people feel like if they don't, then somehow they'll be behind
FOMO.
all the people?
No,
who
yeah,
do?
that one. Also parents, because they talk to each other and their kids are going, so my kids should also go, could be. And I think somehow everybody feels that school studies is not sufficient.
It's not.
But then
It's actually not.
No, yeah, it's I agree with you also, but then if you think about it, like when you are in school, let's say from 1st grade to 10th grade, you are in most playful you could ever be. Like you don't have so many constraints in your head, and we spend 8 hours a day going to school and not
had a child.
Going, coming, tuitions,
Okay,
everything,
fine.
or more.
So I think
You
it's-
lose so much time which you could have invested
invested
in playing or learning
what you're
skills.
saying.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's something that applies to a generic crowd in India where because both parents end up having to work, especially in cities like Mumbai because it's expensive to live. So what ends up happening is because they can't pay attention to if their kids study or not, they end up like it's like at least we have some money at hand, let's just use that money for the child, and it comes from that place. It
Yeah.
doesn't come from a place where kids need help.
Mhm.
The reason why people used to send their kids to tuitions before used to be because, say, I'm weak at math, like I'm really bad, then they would send me to tuition so that I practice it and I get better at it. But what started happening is that, like you're saying, it became a trend at some point where it became that everybody's, going to tuition, so even I have to send my kids to tuitions.
But I honestly think one thing is like because I went to school in a town and not in a big city, I find it more.
Personal as an experience?
I feel it's better, but of course I don't know the other side well. But in terms of overall growth and the freedom you have in towns, it's way more.
I agree. I would.
Like you can, if
Yeah.
you after school you can just go to like not woods, but you can just go be in nature, play with people, like in really.
I grew up in Mumbai, but I somehow still had that.
So
but I
yeah,
know what you're
our
talking about.
generation.
No, but I had
it.
like bigger boundaries.
No, like I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I agree, but
No, but what you're saying is that our generation still had it. If you see kids now, their life
it's really
is
bad. And
really
like,
bad.
I feel
And
even policy-wise, they keep ruining
yeah,
it somehow.
I'll say we had a better childhood.
I feel like we were.
But I
the
think
last
every
one that
generation
didn't
says that
become-
the next generation did not have they are having
Have
a
you
worse
seen
one.
the kids now?
But that's we are seeing the kids just the way our parents were seeing us.
No, but these
No,
are
no.
really.
I'm not talking about a gap that's big. When you graduated from school and you went back to school 1 year later, the way it was
No,
being,
but it's gonna be ever changing. Like the one grade
I'm not denying
top on
what
me
you're
are
saying.
looking the same way at me, the
The
way I look at the one
generational
after.
way of looking at things, because things change for those generations, is always going to stay. What we're saying is that the rate of change has accelerated
Way
more
too
than
much,
anything
and
else.
we.
Technology.
So
and
it's like,
globalization.
yeah, it's because of the digital boom.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mara.
Geo.
Mara totally got cut out of this one.
Next one for
Mara
you.
was like, Indians, what do they even do?
Mara, do you still want to raise your children in India? That is never an option.
Why? When did she
Why?
say she wanted to raise
No.
children?
I want, like, she's so Indian, I wanted her to come and live there. With our startup and stuff, dude.
What kind of fantasies
You promised
do you have
us.
in India?
No, I mean, like, you were going to join us, right?
Making you stay in the house
Oh,
was
yeah.
step 1.
Yeah.
Next we kidnap you in our country.
Like how we do here. We don't let you go home the same way.
So it's like this
We are
podcast
we are
is
running out
But
of
I
topics
actually have a
here.
question.
They're just
Uh-huh.
repeating
I have
itself.
something.
Yeah.
Themselves.
So
Go
for
for
each of you, what was your biggest culture shock when you came to Europe?
After
Oh,
Sukhada.
that's a. Hey, come on, I answered the last
You
question. I
came,
need some
you
time
came.
to answer.
Who came here?
So you.
Go see you.
What? The biggest culture shock I had once I came here? Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia. He started
They
saying
don't
Mamma
like
Mia.
it. Anyway, cultural shock.
We should do this. Inverse attention gesture.
Oh my god.
I talked about this, right? We shouldn't do this. Remember?
What?
Wait.
I wasn't
Why
there.
is this
so-
cliche?
Even I wasn't there. They sent us and they discussed.
No, not the question. The reaction. Cultural shock. Biggest cultural shock. Biggest cultural shock. Biggest cultural shock. The relatable things were very different.
Can I go with mine till you think?
That's why I said go.
Okay. Uh,
I go last.
so, first thing was like in Milan, people used to be making out like crazy in the metros, and that's something is never seen in India.
Making
It-
out.
It's not like a culture shock per se. It is a culture shock, yes.
It is a culture
But
shock.
like, it's not like I feel weird seeing them make out. It's just like, how are they even allowed to do that? How is nobody judging them? How is
Allowed.
this okay? Yeah, because in
That's a
India,
cultural
you
shock.
will find a cop from somewhere who will come and be like, hey, chalo, chalo. And then they'll take you and then they have literally blackmailed my friends to the extent where they've been like, we'll call your parents
Yeah,
and
I
tell
know.
them
I
how
know.
we saw you.
I did.
And then you're just like, no, please take all my money.
Yeah.
I need to preserve my image at home.
I
That
did my
I'm like-
engineering near in Bandra,
Bandra.
on Carter Road. So there was this police chowki, like a small police station, and there were so many young couples just. Please leave us, take our money. I'm like, man,
Were you
this
one
is
of them?
bad. No, never.
Liar.
Never.
He never got caught. What liar.
Okay. Oh, he's
Wow.
good at it.
Was that enough time?
Anyway,
Now
go
you
next. Culture shock.
I was gonna say that because that was also one.
No,
for me.
I also knew that I didn't want
No,
to say that.
but no, like because we discussed it.
Yeah.
We've hardly spoken before
Mhm.
coming here, and then when we were talking on the phone, this was the first thing we discussed.
I don't remember.
No, I remember because yes, I remember.
So PDA is the biggest culture shock.
Not no.
Also,
it was
like-
okay. It was
Also,
okay.
the other thing, I don't know if we should discuss this, but it was also like the way they were doing it.
It was sweet though.
Yeah,
no,
it's
it
sweet.
wasn't shocking, but like
Kids, sorry.
no, it was fine. I mean, it's okay. That was one of the first thing that I
We were discussing
So-
like the pace and the tone and the contrast
Yeah.
between in India and there. Like in India, you can see people are in a hurry to get done and move because it's like there's got to be a police. We discussed this. Remember?
yeah, I know.
I'm just like making euphemisms out. Is there a word like that?
Euphemism.
No.
Yeah.
To like a word form of euphemism.
A word form.
Verb
Verb.
form.
Euphemism.
No.
No, right? It would be cool if there was one. But yeah. So
Euphemize.
yeah, I was like euphemize,
It sounds so
euthanize,
much like
euthanize.
euphemize. Yeah.
But that is some way similar. Okay.
Euthanize.
No, we
Kids,
discussed
sorry,
this
even I don't know that word.
I actually didn't have any cultural shock. One, because from the time I've come here, I've had people comforting me
Mm-hmm.
in all the ways possible. I've been lucky enough. So I actually didn't, even if I did, it was masked with all the comfort. So I didn't pay any attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
You're welcome.
You're not the only one. You were one of the very
Well, I just
major
can't
ones.
think of it. It's been more than 3 years that I came here, so I don't remember my biggest cultural shocks.
If you can't think of cultural shocks, what was, if I can alter the question,
Yeah.
would be biggest difference between Italy and Germany? Or I would say Milan and Berlin specifically, because those both cities are known to be respectively not Italian and not German.
That's true.
You know what you said?
What?
Milan stinks of dog poop.
Every time I go
Even
back,
Berlin doesn't
No,
have very pleasant smell.
she came back from Berlin and
I was
she's
living
like,
in a really nice area, remember?
Yeah, no, but in general. So Milan and Berlin. So Milan is smaller, Berlin is bigger. And Berlin has more international people, which I like because you can always speak in English and you can listen to people speaking English around you, which doesn't happen in Milan. But when I stay in Milan, I somehow feel more at home. And when I go to Berlin, I'm like, people are so harsh here. But it's in the beginning. But then I get used to it because people are not very expressive when it comes to friendship and love. It's very difficult to crack German friends. Crack as in crack into the group of Germans. Berlin has U-Bahn, which is a metro. S-Bahn, which is a on above surface train, which is short distance. And then there is DB, which is Deutsche Bahn, which is long distance train.
And they also
And then
have
there is
trams.
tram and there is bus and there are
It's amazing
micro-mobility stuff.
connectivity wise.
Yeah, and it's flat. So that's why I used to bike so much. Like 18 kilometers a day I used to bike because it's flat.
It's beautiful.
Milan is not?
No.
Milan is not flat. There are so many cobbled streets. Like
Okay.
and there are no bike lanes in Milan.
There are.
Only-
I got
only
yelled at
few.
for walking
Only
on
few
one.
streets have bike lanes. In Berlin, all the streets have bike lanes most
Okay.
of the times.
I remember going to Berlin and you pulling me off the bike lanes, which after a point was
Yeah.
like, why?
Because
Yeah.
nobody stops. They just bump into you.
And then they have to pay 10
No, and also I also been on the other side when you are biking and people are in bike lane and you are like, man.
What do you do in Napoli?
Amazing question.
I don't walk much in Napoli or bike. I just stay at home.
Or he gets driven around, I'm sure.
Ooh.
No. What was your biggest cultural shock when you came from US
Well,
to Europe?
for me, it's not so much of a culture shock because I grew up with Italian culture, so it's like you already know what to
Just same
expect.
culture, bigger level.
Yeah, just all around means that.
What were the things that finally like kind of fell into place or like clicked like, huh?
Like,
Or,
this
like
makes
maybe
sense.
like with, you know, like your extended family's behavior or like some things that your dad did.
Something
Or like that thing you told me once about the spoons being small in the house.
Yeah, they.
the coffee
Okay.
one.
So Italians only have small spoons or big spoons. They don't have like
It
medium-sized
reminds me of
spoons,
something.
which I prefer obviously to eat the medium-sized spoon. And my dad used to always use the big-sized spoon always when he was eating, and we used to kind of find that funny around the table. Like, why is he using like a serving-sized spoon to eat with?
That big, huh?
Basically,
Yeah,
it is, yeah.
like the golden spoon that we have, the one missing spoon, that is the normal spoon, and the ones we use for mixing coffee or we put in sugar
Mm-hmm.
are the spoons.
So you
Okay.
eat with that?
Her dad.
My dad, because
No,
we
no, the
have-
small one.
if I am to choose here and I don't have a real size spoon,
Even
then
I do the
I
small one.
do the small one because it's.
It's like, how do you stuff that much food? How do you chew it?
No, yes, it's like take a half bite.
I mean, yeah, you could do that, but it just
And then
seems
it's just
silly.
like, if you're putting
Yeah.
Speaking of cutlery, fork and knife was my cultural shock when I came here because I was not very comfortable eating fork and knife, and I take knife in my left hand because I'm not able to use fork with left hand because usually knife is in
Yeah,
right
they
hand.
switch one
Yeah.
into it.
So that was my cultural shock. And one funny incident. Well, once one of my friend called me for dinner at her house, and I went there, and there was a family dinner, and they had chicken, like fried chicken and potatoes, and I was like, man, chicken's gonna be tough with fork and knife, so I'll focus on potatoes. And I kept saying like, wow, these potatoes are so good. Rosemary is killing it. And just I kept saying that, like, give me potatoes. And she's like, you don't want more chicken? I like, I don't like chicken much. And inside I was like, it's so delicious, but I can't eat it. And then I kept saying it. And then after that incident, whenever I met her in the university, I just always teased her like, I really like the potatoes at your house. Like whenever there was food discussion, I'm like, Camila's potatoes are awesome, man, so good. And then one day I sat her, like we were just sitting somewhere
Confessed.
and then I like, you know what, Camila, that day actually the chicken was really nice. Just that I'm not very comfortable eating chicken with fork and knife. And then she was like, man, you should have told. Actually, we also don't eat with
They
fork
eat
and knife
it
at
with
home.
their hands, yeah.
Yeah, but you were there as a guest, so everybody was like forking and knifing, and everybody was uncomfortable. I like, man, you should have said I would have ate chicken.
I made foreigners eat tandoori chicken with their hands yesterday because I didn't realize I saw it
Foreigners,
we are the foreigners here, just FYI.
locals.
Okay, fine. Because I saw the tandoori chicken and for me it was very natural to just grab it in my hand
Yeah.
and eat it like this. I didn't realize it until a friend of mine, she's like, oh, are you supposed to eat it with your hand? And it's like, I said yes. And then she tried it and she struggled, but then she did manage to eat it. And
But all the Italians
but
were
Italians
eating with
eat
their
chicken.
hands.
Chicken with
We
hands,
just
yes.
picked it up and
that side, I'm talking about this
This side. We had mixed Asians.
Yes.
they had
No,
more
even-
Asians there,
even-
and then it was Clara.
Even, yeah, like the
Yeah.
ones on the ends, it started from here and then they started. It was fun.
Weird. But then they couldn't eat anything else with their hands.
Yeah. So
Yeah. It's
That's
okay.
kind of an idea.
Slowly.
It was like you trying to eat with fork and knife.
Yeah.
Like some of
I
them
like.
tried.
But I learned, be honest. If you're not comfortable, say it.
Yeah.
And then I started to follow that lifestyle where I'm not comfortable. Next time. No, if I'm not comfortable, I just like say it. For example, penguin pajamas. Like,
But they're nice.
no. So once I went with penguin pajamas in the lobby of Ritz, and my colleagues were like, "Oh man, you came in pajamas." I was like, "Guys, we pay them. They are the service providers. We shouldn't change the way we behave because of the space." Anyway, I thought it was interesting.
We like penguin pajamas.
Yeah, penguin pajamas are cool,
They're very cool.
and they are
And
bought
he
in
won't
India,
have
locally
them.
made.
Okay.
By the way.
Anyway, so now we are reaching the end of the podcast, and I don't know, we should end on something which is very hopeful, positive.
We'll have a next podcast in Berlin maybe soon.
Yeah, I hope so too. That's good.
Good one, Nidhi.
Good self-invitation. I hope the embassy is listening to this, making my visa.
Yeah,
They send me home.
I don't
Great.
think she meant it as a self-invitation.
So, Sukhada, if one thing you wanted... Oh, that's too loud. I'm sorry, guys. If you wanted to change one thing in this world, what would it be? Quickly.
Have people.
Change
There'll be
people.
two things.
Change
One
people?
would be the source, which would be like if you're having kids, don't have them unless you can fully invest in it and like make them be sensible
Deep.
adults
Deep.
that are well-rounded and have as less issues as possible,
Cool.
so that they don't throw them around on other people.
Where is this coming from?
And
I wonder. Second.
and the second one would be that people generally behave more or consider each other's feelings more while doing things, and that they don't feel. I feel like there's a lack of being nice in society, because it's like if I'm nice, then I'm the weaker person. And that's like a whole thing
never.
that started, which is something that people should stop doing, really.
Cool.
Because
I
it's
agree.
like you're robbing yourself of the joy of making someone happy, and you're robbing somebody of the joy of being happy. And that's just freaking dumb.
I agree. Totally.
So if you like
Cool.
someone, go tell them, hey, I like you. It's fine.
Nice. That's a good way of thinking. Action. So about changing, because you said people in the first place, and there's a really nice saying I heard somewhere: change people around you. If
You
you're
could change
if
you
you
want to see
can't-
in the world.
no.
Gandhi.
If you're not okay with the people who are around you, change people around you. Else, change people around you.
Nice.
Get it?
Yes,
Get it?
get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Get it. Get it.
Wasn't too difficult to follow, dude.
Yeah, no, nice.
He questioned our intellect because we're women.
Like I really don't
You made
feel
it-
comfortable when people
You
put me
made
in
it
such
so
positions.
far, and
They're like,
right
man,
at the
I'm
end,
doing it. Crazy.
he's like, I must come through it.
He's
No,
gonna
no.
edit this guy.
No, I asked get it because I thought I didn't explain it properly. In my
It was a
defense.
You did, you
joke.
did.
My defense.
It was
Let
a
it
joke.
come.
I see how
Come, we
feminism topic is making you uncomfortable, but it was a joke.
Yeah, because he's
He's
sitting.
attacked. He's surrounded.
When I feel very comfortable when everything is okay, equality, unless and until somebody points it.
That's usually the thing with
Then it
most
becomes a
social
topic.
change things. Like
Yeah.
me and Mara have discussed this a lot. That when you bring these things up, it makes people uncomfortable, which is why people don't have those conversations. And it is
But
only with difficult conversations that the world changes.
No, I'm
And
not
she's good
against
about
conversations.
that. No, I'm not. That's
I know.
not like I'm saying as a conceptual thing, not about you.
Yeah.
Like we were discussing this, and it's like she's really good at that, and like I'm usually quite non-confrontational as a person, so I avoid it. But I
Yeah.
feel like we need more of people who can calmly say that this is why I'm saying it, and this isn't actually about you. It's just about how we as a society are functioning. Until we don't change how we think, to quote Hassan Minaj, we
Yeah.
push
Quoting
it
Hassan
up
Minaj.
Yeah.
like every time.
No, what I feel about these things is there are only two options, both the extremes. Nobody talks about a transition phase. Like maybe there is a possibility that you were doing things wrong, and then it becomes a phenomena where everybody is saying, for example, feminism or something, go green or some such topics, and there is no like a transition phase for anyone. Like you can either be this or either that. You are good or bad. It's not like I was maybe wrong and I want to be better, but then there is no category for you. You are like, okay, you're in or out. You can't be like, I'm trying to come in.
Yeah,
That can be
but
explained.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like that's why you need to have these conversations openly without accusing people. Because
Yeah.
if you corner people, like I made a joke about this right now, and it made you uncomfortable because I put it on you.
Yeah.
Had I not done that, and had it been a more generic joke, it wouldn't have made you uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Which is why the way you handle these things, even though this sounds manipulative, it's kind of necessary to
It
be.
does sound manipulative.
But if you have to ever get your point across, it's important to understand somebody and do it. Manipulation is when you use it to your benefit.
Yeah, I know. You're
Cool.
teaching me
Deep.
about manipulation. Oh, nice.
Deep. So Nidhi, what is one thing would you like to change?
Change. One thing.
Yeah.
She got two.
She just
She had
made
like
herself
three.
comfortable.
Yeah. I went
It's
on
like
and
first-
Like 3.
2, 3, 3A, 3B, 3C. And
If you
go.
hadn't known, this is she's now launching her political campaign. This is her platform.
Sukhada for PM.
Yes. I think we should definitely tag Hasan Minhaj somewhere here.
In your
You've dropped him 3 times.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can just cut this part and give it to you and use it as a
Okay.
teaser.
Yeah, sure.
Go.
Oh, okay.
Grandmaster Gogo? Sorry.
Let's see. I haven't watched that movie either.
Shame.
Crime Master Gogo. Okay, sorry. Okay, I would like to get back the good quality of air again.
Okay.
That's a excellent one.
Nice. Well thought. You had time.
No,
To be fair.
no, because I've been dreading going back home
Yeah.
because of the Delhi situation. I know I'm not landing in Delhi,
Yeah.
but still, I mean,
It's bad.
Mumbai is no
Like
good.
anytime you check on the weather app, Mumbai unhealthy air quality. I'm like,
No, but
No, because-
also about that weather
No,
app,
I feel.
I'm not sure about the sources because the.
But
it's
still,
true.
no, I'll give
Do
you-
you need a
No, no,
weather
no.
app? if
No, I
you lived in
understand, but it's
Mumbai?
not very as accurate as US and
Yes,
Europe.
I know.
I
but
feel strongly
I'm
about
saying.
it because the time I was there, my mom knows and people around me know. I used to sneeze like 24/7. I was
She's
miserable.
really sensitive to it.
Yeah, I was miserable, and from the time I've come here, like I've been fine. And
Yeah.
even if I got those allergy things because of the weather change,
And sometimes my dusty homes.
yeah, but that's fine. But I recovered quickly. That used to not happen in Mumbai.
Yeah. No, but next question. No, like next statement would be, what are we doing to make it better?
Okay, I will watch Rotten.
No, I'm not directing it to you. I'm just
Good one.
if we are saying the air quality is not good, which I agree. What we should do about it?
I think we should not cut more plants.
Like the
And-
RA situation, man.
Yeah, like when you
Yeah.
overnight
It's a big topic.
overnight you cut trees. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what actually went down, but that was really not cool. Also, plant more trees, and like she said, if you're planning to get children into this world
Or a child.
or a child, think about it, guys. Is it even can the world take it? Can the child take it?
And if you really want to raise a child, you can do it by adopting one.
Yeah. No, but again, it's the same situation like when we talked about the education, because such kind of intellectual is only there in limited percentage of people, and the people, like the more the population
Okay, see.
growth happens in the families where there is not much of awareness about the
Okay, see.
resources
Okay,
and
see.
distribution.
We all are
Then-
like service designers, sorry. It's like we as service designers, or generally, I think it's like we can't see one thing in
Yeah.
like just one thing, which is a good thing, but that also means that it's very true that nothing is just one thing. It's the surrounding topics and that thing. So no matter what topic we talk about, if it's actually a topic that's worthwhile, then it's gonna have
A lot of facets.
yes.
Also, coming back to like saying like not everyone is sensible, you know, there are people in position who can
enforce certain
yes.
things.
take, for example, Salman Khan in India. That one idiot.
Idiot is too
Sorry,
kind.
kids.
Idiot is too kind.
Idiot is too kind. He can get across anything to a large number of people and
Actually,
they'll
cut
do
this. I
it.
don't want
No.
to get screwed in India.
They'll do it.
Yeah.
So people in power should take up better responsibilities
Mhm.
and preach it to other people. They might actually do
You
it.
mean like law enforcement, basically?
No, law is
policy
not gonna
making.
help.
Law is following.
Yeah.
I would say that law enforcement is also a thing with our country.
No, but again, the
There's
way
no
you
actual
write law,
consequence.
people who write law, it's very like they don't care about, like they don't take the whole picture. They just make law. If they see a problem, make law.
I'm just talking about people like officially or unofficially. If you are in a place where you can tell people what to do, or you know, inspire them in some way that they'll actually work in that direction. Use it to save the world. Like Salman Khan can actually do it. He should do it. Does he do it? No,
I don't know.
he doesn't.
Being human.
Maybe.
Hashtag.
Maybe not. I don't know. I haven't read.
Even if he's doing a lot of other negative stuff, which is not helping. So
Cool.
I don't care about his existence. It's just that I see he has a lot of power. He's not utilizing it for communities or world's benefit.
Fair enough. Mara.
Kind of bridging along with the last thing Nidhi has said, for me, the thing I would change is kind of that apathy is kind of widespread, and it just seems to be the way people's default. It's kind of taken as natural, and I think it's a bit more of something that came in the 80s, and it's kind of the way people commonly behave, and like it's felt, oh, I shouldn't care about politics and all these things, and that I think is doing more, the apathy of general people is doing more to like kind of increase or exacerbate some of these problems we have than no.
What would you change?
Well, I don't know if it's something I can change, but I would want people to actually care more and care about things that affect other people, and not just only care about things because it actually directly impacts them.
Cool.
What would you change?
Wow.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was coming to you.
First
I'm asking
thing,
the questions here. It's my podcast.
Thank you for watching. I changed the situation. No, change. I changed the way.
Dude,
No.
that's mean. Dude.
Yeah, really. I changed that first. No, I will change because we don't
Sukhada will
teach.
be edited out.
Yeah, please.
It's good that she's sitting there. Is her hand here? No, perfect. I'm kidding. No, I'll change the way we teach people. Again, it goes into education, because we don't only have to give knowledge to people, but we have to also teach them how to think, and it lies all there. Because when you know how to think, you think about things.
Not what to think.
Yes. How to?
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not never
Critical
trained.
thinking.
Yeah. And that's why I made a podcast where I talked about thinking is underrated or something. It's the title of the podcast. Maybe number 3 or 4. Go and
Thinking
listen.
is underrated.
Or yeah. It should.
You can
something-
find
I don't
it
remember.
here.
exactly.
I don't do that kind of thing.
Good.
Anyway, on that note, thank you for staying till the end. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you, people, for coming on the podcast.
You actually came here.
Actually, it's always happens. Always. Always, yes.
Like,
Bring him a portable studio. Cool. How do you?
passion lives here.
Yes, and passion. Or five of us. That was the
Ouch.
Olympic
Okay.
stuff. Anyway, thank you so much, Sukhada.
Thank you for
Nidhi.
having me.
Thank you, Mara. And thank you, people. And I'll see you in the next one. Until that time. No, I'm gonna play my outro.
Come on, he's a magician. I know, but we haven't learned his by heart.
It would be funny if like you had her starting it and then just no, and then just nobody else. So that was a constant thing.
We do know one of your songs that
Which one?
Chalo mute.
Novate.
Come on, guys. Like, this podcast should be uplifting.
I wasn't gonna say.
Yes. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, whatever. Hey, I don't care. Just if you like it, do it. Otherwise, it's okay. I'm gonna anyway make it because I like making them. And that's all.
It's
That's
like
all.
there's a
That's all.
teleprompter on our face.
That's all.
I'm just beautiful.
Reads.
Oh.